Have you ever wondered how quickly a UFC fight can end? Some fighters don't waste a second, delivering knockout blows in record time. From legendary champions to rising stars, these lightning-fast finishes have shocked the world and left fans speechless. Today, we'll count down the 15 fastest finishes in UFC history, breaking down each fight that ended in the blink of an eye. Stay tuned for some jaw-dropping moments. Number 15. James Irvin vs. Houston Alexander. At UFC Fight Night 13 on April 2, 2008, James Irvin faced Houston Alexander in a light heavyweight bout that ended in a mere 8 seconds. As the fight commenced, both fighters approached the center of the octagon. Irvin unleashed a powerful Superman punch that connected flush on Alexander's chin, sending him crashing to the canvas. Irvin immediately followed up with ground-and-pound strikes, prompting the referee to halt the contest. This lightning-fast finish highlighted Irvin's explosive striking ability and remains one of the quickest knockouts in UFC history. Number 14. Leon Edwards vs. Seth Bachinski. On April 11, 2015, at UFC Fight Night 64, Leon Edwards took on Seth Bachinski in a welterweight clash. Edwards wasted no time, delivering a straight left hand that dropped Bachinski just 8 seconds into the first round. He quickly followed up with additional strikes on the ground before the referee intervened, securing the victory. This performance showcased Edwards' precision and speed, marking his arrival as a notable contender in the welterweight division. Number 13. Don Frye vs. Thomas Ramirez. In a heavyweight bout at UFC 8 on February 16, 1996, Don Frye faced Thomas Ramirez. Frye, known for his aggressive style, charged at Ramirez from the opening bell. He landed a rapid combination of punches, knocking Ramirez out cold in just 8 seconds. This swift victory not only demonstrated Frye's striking prowess, but also set a record at the time for the fastest knockout in UFC history. Number 12. Makwan Amirkhani vs. Andy Ogle. At UFC on Fox 14 on January 24, 2015, featherweights Makwan Amirkhani and Andy Ogle squared off. Amirkhani made an unforgettable UFC debut by executing a flying knee immediately after the opening bell, stunning Ogle. He followed up with a series of punches, leading to a stoppage just 8 seconds into the fight. This spectacular debut highlighted Amirkhani's dynamic striking and earned him widespread recognition. Number 11. Mark Weir vs. Eugene Jackson. At UFC 38 on July 13, 2002, Mark Weir made his UFC debut against Eugene Jackson in a middleweight contest. Right from the bell, Weir unleashed a lightning-fast right hand that floored Jackson instantly. He followed up with quick strikes before the referee stepped in, stopping the fight at just 10 seconds. This explosive performance made Weir's debut one of the fastest knockouts in UFC history and cemented his reputation as a dangerous striker. Number 10. Chan Sung Jung vs. Mark Hominick. At UFC 140 on December 10, 2011, featherweights Chan Sung Jung, known as the Korean Zombie, and Mark Hominick faced off. As the fight began, Hominick aggressively advanced, but Jung countered with a perfectly timed right hand that floored Hominick. Jung immediately capitalized with ground strikes, leading to a stoppage just 7 seconds into the bout. This victory tied the record for the fastest knockout in UFC featherweight history and showcased Jung's counter-striking proficiency. Number 9. Ryan Jimmo vs. Anthony Perosh. At UFC 149 on July 21, 2012, Ryan Jimmo made a stunning debut in the UFC by delivering an overhand right that knocked Anthony Perosh out cold in just 7 seconds. The fight began, and Jimmo wasted no time, landing a clean shot that floored Perosh instantly. After Perosh hit the canvas, Jimmo quickly followed up with ground strikes, forcing the referee to step in and stop the fight. This swift and decisive victory showcased Jimmo's knockout power and placed him in the record books for one of the fastest finishes in UFC history, cementing his reputation for explosive striking right from his UFC debut. Number 8. Terrence McKinney vs. Matt Frevola. On June 12, 2021, at UFC 263, Terrence McKinney took the opportunity to make a huge impression during his short-notice debut against Matt Frevola, quickly forcing the referee to stop the fight. This impressive performance not only earned McKinney his first UFC win, but also tied the record for the fastest knockout in UFC lightweight history, solidifying him as a rising star in the division. Number 7. Todd Duffy vs. Tim Hague. On August 29, 2009, at UFC 102, Todd Duffy made his UFC debut against Tim Hague in a heavyweight clash that would go down in UFC history. Duffy, known for his raw power, landed a brutal jab right from the opening bell, dropping Hague to the canvas instantly. He followed up with a barrage of strikes on the ground that left the referee with no choice but to stop the fight just 7 seconds into the first round. This lightning-fast knockout set the record for the fastest knockout in UFC heavyweight history at the time, establishing Duffy as a dangerous knockout artist in the UFC. Number 6. Duane Ludwig vs. Jonathan Goulet. On January 16, 2006, at UFC Fight Night 3, Duane "Bang" Ludwig made UFC history by knocking out Jonathan Goulet in just 6 seconds. Known for his sharp striking, Ludwig landed a precise right hand that sent Goulet crashing to the mat immediately. He followed up with a single punch on the ground before the referee stepped in to halt the fight. This victory not only showcased Ludwig's knockout power, but also set a UFC record for the fastest knockout, a title that remained unchallenged for several years, making this moment one of the most iconic in UFC history. Number 5. BJ Penn vs. Caol Uno. On November 2, 2001, at UFC 34, high voltage BJ Penn faced Caol Uno in a lightweight bout at the MGM Grand, Las Vegas. The fight was a rematch after their first encounter, where Penn knocked out Uno in just 11 seconds. This time, Uno came in more cautious, looking to prove himself. He tried to control the pace with takedowns and strategy, but Penn's striking and grappling were dominant. Number 4. Conor McGregor vs. Jose Aldo. On December 12, 2015, at UFC 194, Conor McGregor took on the long-reigning featherweight champion Jose Aldo in a highly anticipated bout. The fight ended in a shocking 13 seconds, as McGregor landed a perfectly timed left hand right from the opening bell that sent Aldo crashing to the mat. McGregor followed up with a few more strikes before the referee stepped in to stop the fight. This swift knockout not only secured McGregor the UFC featherweight title, but also ended Aldo's decade-long undefeated streak, cementing McGregor's place as one of the sport's biggest stars and one of the fastest finishers in UFC history. Number 3. Jorge Masvidal vs. Ben Askren. At UFC 239 on July 6, 2019, Jorge Masvidal stunned the MMA world by knocking out Ben Askren in just 5 seconds, setting the record for the fastest knockout in UFC history. As the fight started, Masvidal sprinted across the octagon and launched a flying knee that landed flush on Askren's face, knocking him out instantly. Askren fell unconscious before hitting the mat, and the referee stepped in to stop the fight. This iconic moment not only earned Masvidal a place in UFC history, but also became one of the most memorable and talked about moments in the sport, showcasing his tactical brilliance and striking precision. Number 2. Ronda Rousey vs. Cat Zingano. On February 28, 2015, at UFC 184, Ronda Rousey defended her bantamweight title against Cat Zingano in a fight that lasted only 14 seconds. As soon as the bell rang, Rousey wasted no time and immediately secured an armbar on Zingano, forcing her to tap out before the fight could even get going. This incredibly quick submission victory reinforced Rousey's dominance in the women's bantamweight division and further solidified her reputation as one of the most fearsome fighters in UFC history. with her grappling skills being showcased in one of the fastest finishes the sport has ever seen. Number 1. Andrei Arlovski vs. Paul Buentello. At UFC 55 on October 7, 2005, Andrei Arlovski defended his UFC heavyweight championship against Paul Buentello. The fight ended in just 15 seconds after Arlovski landed a brutal right hand that knocked Buentello out cold. This powerful knockout not only helped Arlovski retain his title, but also became one of the fastest finishes in UFC heavyweight championship history. The explosive start to the fight showcased Arlovski's knockout power and solidified his place as one of the most dangerous heavyweights in UFC history, making this one of the quickest and most impressive championship victories in the sport. And there you have it, the 15 fastest finishes in UFC history. These fights prove that one perfectly timed strike can change everything in an instant. Which knockout surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. If you found this video helpful and informative, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.